Let's
Hey
do it.
everyone, it's Lawrence Mack here, founder of Real Estate Rookies and Real Estate Brokerage in Mississauga and Toronto. And I'm here today with Mary Ann Gillespie from Red Apple Coaching. How are you doing, Mary Ann?
I'm living the dream, baby. I'm living the dream.
That's awesome. So excited for you to be here.
Thank you.
Uh, for
Glad to
those
be
of you that don't know, Mary Ann has more than 30,000 billable coaching hours. She's helped more than 250 realtors achieve more than 7 figures of income, and she actively coaches the #1 team in Canada. So you're in very good hands with her. So we're just going to talk about how to triple your production at the end of the year. Does that sound good?
Sounds good to me. Let's
Awesome.
do it. Let's do it.
First of all, was wondering if you could share your story because I thought it was very inspiring. I don't know how much of that you want to share, but if you can give people some context of where you're coming from, that kind of stuff, that would be awesome.
Sure, absolutely. Let's start from the day I was born. No, I'm kidding. I'm only kidding. All right. A lot of people who know me know that I'm probably one of the biggest badasses in the industry. I'm behind the scenes a lot of the time, which is really, I'm only starting now to kind of pull myself out there and say, okay, like start talking about shit that's going on in my world. But a couple of things about me that maybe you do or don't know. So I built the #1 office in Canada, United States, but I come from nothing. So basically my family passed away when I was younger. I was homeless for a good year. So I lived on the street. So I really did come from nothing. And so I have kind of this edge about me that's really a determination that, you can really, whatever you think is possible, you can become it. And I've experienced that most of the time throughout my life. When that was the first milestone that I kind of went through. And then, I became a leader at one of the companies at Keller Williams, actually. And I worked at Keller Williams and I worked my way up all the way from being a top producer. My first year, I did 80 deals. My second year, I made $1 million. And then coaching was always my favorite thing. Howard Brinton was my coach. And he passed away. So you can Google him. He's not around anymore. Can't take him as a coach because he ain't here anymore. So anyway, but long story short, he had passed away. But he was always, when I went to mentor with the top team in the world, it was the first real estate team in existence. And I said to the owner of the team, I said, listen, there's 2 things I want to know. First thing I want to know is like how you became successful. And he says, I have the best coach. I said, okay. And he says, I'm excellent at listings. And I said, okay. And I was working as an admin for him. And he said, okay. He says, do you want a job? I said, yeah, but 2 conditions. I want to sit in on every listing appointment you do and every coaching call. And I fell in love with coaching before I even became licensed because of Howard. So I didn't know at the time that he was the best coach in the industry, a genius. Most of what you hear today has just been regurgitated, actually, that he's created, not from me, but in the industry. And so a lot of the things that I learned, carved my path. So that's why I had a lot of success my first year, my second year, $1 million. But then I realized that coaching was my passion. And, and even though real estate produces a lot more income, coaching being a passion is something that I'm really involved in and love. And so anyway, I started building it up, and then Keller Williams gave me an opportunity to run a coaching program in their office. So I did. I built that office up to 350 agents and built the #1 coaching program in the world. We ended up beating every office in Canada, United States for production all the years I coached. And then I said, you know what? Let's see what I can do bigger. So then I went to work for Gary Keller, and I went to work for the biggest coaching company in the world. And then I just became top of there. And then I had to make a choice at one point to go out on my own about 7 years ago, in which I said, sure, let's do it. And then I just built my business to that point, and I became one of the top coaches in Canada, United States there, and just fell in love with coaching in general. And then along the path, like a lot of my history has just been, I became 300 pounds. And, I fought my way out of that. This is recent. This is not like 20 years ago. So I became 300 pounds. And then I wish Ozempic was around that time. I feel like I've missed the boat on that one. So anyway, just 2 years too late. So long story short, I hired 5 personal trainers and coaches. They exorcismed me every day. And I ended up becoming an Ironman World Championship athlete in less than 5 years. And so that's who I am today. And now I'm just kind of finally, after all that journey, I'm just finally at that point now where I'm starting to say, okay, as a woman in business and as a top coach, I'm finally getting that confidence or that ability to say, okay, you know what? It's time to take this out into the mainstream and just see what the universe can hand me back. So anyway, it's been kind of exciting. And that's why I think a lot of my clientele, I love working with all levels of clientele. It's not really a matter. A lot of people say, well, you only like working with the biggest teams in the world. And I said, sure, I love doing that. But I said, what I love most is I love people who have that grit in them to say, look, like, I don't care if you're at zero. You know, Matt Bigley is a great example of one of my clients I was talking to this morning. He's in Windsor, Ontario, and he was a high school teacher, counselor, slash teacher. And he came to me, he's like, I'm leaving an $80,000 a year career, no sales background. He's like, can you be my coach? And so I was like, he came from, like, he's not a top agent. And so it's 2 years now that I've been coaching him, and it's been a lot of work during COVID especially, but he gave up teaching, went all in. And I'm just going to be doing a post recently, but he's now averaging about 140,000 per month. And so we just had a $140,000 June. And so it's kind of like the rush that I have is not necessarily how much money somebody makes. It's, are they doing what they really believe in? Are they listening to what's going on inside them? Do they see a difference in what they're doing? And like, I love it, because I did a post the other day and I said, like, if you have nobody that supports you, or if nobody believes in you, that's a tough freaking road. And most of us don't have a lot of people saying, go, 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 go. So I want to be that coach that's always like, look, I know anybody can do anything in real estate. You just have to have the drive and the motivation to get there. And that's who I love coaching. I love coaching people who are like, and the harder the journey that they have to go through, the more I freaking love them. The more I love them. And I love that. You know, it's great to coach some of the biggest, but it's amazing to coach the people who have a personal drive and a personal journey that they're going through to get there. It's euphoric.
Yeah, and I mean, your intensity shows, especially. So, I mean, other people may or may not know, I also was in the boot camp for the last month for Red Apple coaching, and it was intense. Let me tell you, I don't know how you have the time to do all of that, because you're both coaching, you're in production, you do, you know, your
Everything.
Ironman thing. Like, how do you do all that?
You just have to balance yourself. Like, I truly believe in, like, you know, I don't sleep a ton, but I also, like, I take care of myself. So, like, I don't drink alcohol, I don't do drugs. You know, I fantasize about both. There are days where I'm like, I wish I'd be like, what would it be like to, like, be high as a kite right now, and float through the world, you know? But I do think of that sometimes, but I think it's just, you know, I think one of the things is, Lawrence, and I truly, truly get this message across to people a lot. You have one life to live. That's it. You got one choice. You got one trip around this world that you're going to live it, and you have a decision to make. You either live it and you accept what happens and you move on, and you really live it with passion, and you live it with everything you've got, and you go all freaking in on yourself, and you enjoy the ride. No matter how hard it is, you got to enjoy it. So it's like you have one life to live. So I just choose that. Like, I get sucker punched, I get back up again. I have horrible things that have happened to me in this business. And it's like, I get sucker punched, get back up, sucker punched, get back up. And I still wake up every morning and I look outside and I go, okay, I'm really lucky to be here. And you know what? One day I'm not going to wake up. One day I'm not going to be here. So, like, I have to really put that in perspective. So I'm very lucky. And I think if you see it that way, you will always value it that way.
That's really good words to live by. I mean, I live in a similar way, but not to that level of intensity. So we're talking about tripling your production by the end of the year. And I guess the question is, why do you think we need to triple, or how do you think we can triple production? What's so special about this year?
I think what we're in right now, I don't care what anybody says. You can say, like, I saw a couple posts the other day that were like, the market's terrible. And it's like, no, it's not. Okay, it's not. You have to always remember, right now, you shouldn't even be looking at what the market's doing. You take a look at your first 6 months of last year, your first 6 months of this year, and measure the two against each other and say, am I performing better or worse? If you start looking at what the market's doing and making that as a decision behind your business, I don't think that's a good idea. Okay, because it's a frame of mindset that allows you permission to be weak. It allows you permission to not be weak. And if you listen to all the garbage out there, that's what you're getting. Right. So it's like, so I don't ever listen to the market, but what I do is I study it tremendously. And I will say what we're in right now is you are 2 weeks away from the market changing. Okay. And that is the truth. Even though I don't want you to focus on that, I want you to be very optimistic and give you some good news. We're in purgatory right now. Okay. And what you have is you have a ton of overpriced listings that are not reducing right now. Okay. If you see them reduce, they're selling. Okay, we have a lot of inventory, but that's not a bad thing. We have 10 buyers for every house that's out there. Doesn't matter if you're Canada or United States. We have a housing crisis that's not fixed yet. So if you see product not moving, ask yourself why. It's purgatory, okay? The sellers believe that the prices should be higher because they're like, well, interest rates are going down, so our houses should. That's not the case, okay? The buyers can't afford it. So they're waiting it out, and they're going, we'll keep waiting it out. And when those prices adjust down a bit, they'll open the door and they will move. That's why good price listings are selling right now. Motivated sellers are saying, let's do it. When that shift happens, there's hundreds. If you look at the expired listings that are about to come down the pipeline across Canada and the United States right now, it's a landslide. You're going to see expired listings come everywhere. Portion are going to not put their house back on. Portion are going to, and a portion will put it back on in September. And you're going to see better pricing. Mark my words, it's happening. You're going to see double-digit sales increase by the fourth quarter. And I've already called it months ago. And if you look at the 3-year fixed interest rates, it's dropping. So like everything is happening. So you have to really see that we are about to enter what I call the upward cycle. And I will never disagree with that. There is going to be a great opportunity coming down the pipeline as far as business growth goes. And I don't care what anybody says. If you're taking overpriced listings and you don't have the skills to remove them and bring them down, I think you're in trouble and you're going to lose those listings. But I think if you're smart and you don't take the summer off and you say, I want to go all in, then you're going to see that it's all the economists have said the prices are not going to go up, but the sales, absolutely, they're about to head upwards, and it will happen because it's all happening now. And it's like, so if I was excited, I've never been more excited. And then 2025, I mean, you don't even want to know how amazing that year looks. I mean, it looks absolutely awesome. In real estate, at least I think so. So you have to look at many variables and what's shifting and what's happening, and then put it all together. But you are in just that moment right now. We are going to start to share posts of our coaching clients, but we always do a 6 months analysis. We look at the last 6 months of this year and last year. One of the teams that, like today alone, like we had 150K GCI more on a team, 25% increase. We have a 500% increase in a team this year over last year. We have 40%. We're posting one today, Chris Cipriani's team, 100% increase over last year versus this year. Like, it's off the hook, the things. Our Zillow teams are at a highest ratio we've ever had converting appointments. So like everything that we're doing is has it been easy? Hell no. But we are about to now we're heading into something easier for our coaching clients finally. But I think any of our clients right now, I'm saying, let's work this summer and put the work in now, because it's coming and it's exciting. Like, I could show you my phone. I'm so excited. And I'm kind of like, this is our busiest July we've ever had. I'm like, ugh, but it's awesome. So I'm really excited. That's why we're kind of excited to look for those right now, those clients that are very like, okay, don't look at the shit. Look at the good news. And 80-20 rule, man. 80% of the agents are going to say it's terrible. 20% are going to see what's about happening. And you got to get excited about that.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing as well, with the proposed, interest rates coming down, and I have a lot of buyers just getting off the fence, that kind of thing. There's a lot more activity now, and I can see it picking up over the next couple of months. And of course, working now, then it'll convert in like 6 months, right? Like, you don't just...
I would go after all the expires and cancels and terminated, I would literally be going after, like, not like illegally, but I would literally be going after the opportunity. Yeah, let's clear that up, Rico. We know, but I would be going after it. I like, be very good with what you're doing, and you will see a landslide of opportunity coming down the pipeline. You just have to be doing the right things. Like, we had everybody doing direct messages before for Canada Day. And we said, send out all the direct messages. And we said, we had a strategy. I said, watch what happens. They started doing them. And I was like, that's amazing. And it was like, boom, boom, boom. We have like Rob Golfy's team. He gave me like 20K and said, here's $20,000. If you can get these 40 agents to this level of sales in 5 weeks, they get $20,000 to have. And I was like, perfect. And I was like, awesome. I don't think he realized they're all hitting the targets. And he's like, he's going to be writing a check. I mean, he's going to be happy, but it's actually not that hard, because it's like, we're doing the work. If you do the work, you will get the results, but it's the right work that you have to do now.
So what is the right work? So let's talk about the highest impact activities you can do
as
an agent. What do you say that those are?
I would say the highest activity right now is people are terrified. 2 things that they're terrified. So I hired this guy. He's a funnel expert. Okay. So he's about $20,000 per call. Yeah, American too. And so I'm like, so that's like $1 million Canadian. Anyway, so I hired him and we just did a call. And so the reason I hired him is I said, I want you to tell me what the best, like this is the master of funnels, masters of databases, master of sales. This is the best you can get in the industry. Okay. And in any industry, really, he's a genius. So he was telling me, he's like, couple things you have to look at. Everybody has databases, but we're terrible, like terrible at communicating with them because we have our own issues in our head that hold us back from it. And he was saying there's two things, like he goes, the best agents in the industry are sending out an email on Monday, an email on Thursday. And he's like, every week, 2 emails. And he's like, the first email on a Monday is very call to action and very hyper local market news. And he's like, you're not doing that. He's like, you need to send out something hyper local, like, hey, with a subject, now is the best time to buy in blah, blah city, find out why. Who opened that in your database, and then give the reasons why. Run it through that weird ChatGPT, run it through, but get the stats and put the top 3 reasons why it's the best time to buy in the marketplace that you're in right now. You'll get them, just make them your own, and then have a call to action at the bottom that says, if you want to book your consult, let me know. Okay, so you have that. And then he says on Thursdays, just send out a very good detailed information about any topic you want in real estate and maybe interest rates. But the point is he says, look who opens those emails. So when you see, if you send it out and you have a 250 person database and 50 people open that email about, is this, the best time to buy in my city, call those 50 people. Hey, it's Marianne. I noticed that you opened the email. I just want to check in with you. Had any questions about that? What did you think of the email? You have to do the work and watch the statistics and then build that database. Start building it aggressively. If you're sitting at 1 to 200 to 300 people in your database, are you communicating that often and that effective with it? Are you the expert? Second thing is are you growing it? 82%, here's the next tip. 82% of home shoppers and sellers right now, 82% are looking online to make a decision for the first time ever. They're going online and they're looking and saying, who has hyper local knowledge about the area, because we need to pick the right realtor this time around because we're a little confused. So if your social content is really fluffy and poopy out there, you're not going to get their attention. So you have to put hyper local market knowledge. Simply just means that you're talking about active stuff, like, hey, guess what? We have 17 houses under 350,000 in our marketplace residential. If you want the list, let us know. Talking about things like, why do I think, as the local expert of blah blah area, why do I think this is the best time to buy a condo? Well, everybody's saying the condo market's shit. Look at the news. I don't think it's shit. I mean, I wouldn't buy a condo, but why do I not think it's shit? Because get in there and say, because guess what? This is a safe investment for somebody who maybe has a big house, wants to sell and travel the world. It's the best time for you to get into this market. Great for downsizers. Best opportunity to get smoking deals. High inventory, lots of negotiation. It's also a wonderful time for widowers. Get into the condo market instead of a retirement home, which is going to cost you $5,000 a month. Start looking at the right segment to get into the condos. Is it the best time for a couple to get into a condo? Probably not, because it's, you don't want to be there for 3 to 5 years, but there's amazing opportunities out there to get into the condo market that you've never seen before. So why not jump into it? And so that's a great opportunity. And so they're looking for people like you to say, tell me information about the hyper local market, why it's good, why it's bad. The other thing they're looking for is when you do a just sold. The public, there's studies now showing that they don't want to see just sold. They want to see the hero story behind the just sold. So they want to see, hey, I just sold Bob and Sue this house. Here's the 3 things that I did for Bob and Sue that are really awesome. And, we have a customized buyer program or a seller program that really works. We have a pricing strategy that bar none gets the highest results. And also we do a full analysis on every single competitive property and blah, 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 blah. Put it there. They want to see that. So are you doing that? And then the other thing I would suggest is, people have these great social media accounts and they're terrified to DM people. If I could tell you the return we're seeing on DMs right now, it's off the hook. And it doesn't matter if they're in your city, refer them to another agent if they're not. But asking a simple freaking question. It's Marianne. I just want to check in and see if you had any questions about the real estate market. Can I help at all? If anybody doesn't want to hear that from you, they'll delete you, and really, who cares? You're in sales. And I think we have to remember that we're in sales. And when your mind is in sales, you understand that you have to continually have conversations every day, no less than 25 conversations every day about real estate, and get yourself in there. And when you're doing that, you got to rip that Band-Aid off and be like, who effing cares? If somebody sends you, you don't think somebody send me a message back telling me that I'm a stinky sales rep in real estate? You don't think they've said that? You don't think they've like, you're greedy? You don't think they've said all that? Of course they do. I'm still alive. And I'm like, yeah, well, you know what? I also ate burgers out of a dumpster when I was a teenager. So like, really, like, doesn't really bother me to say that. So you have to kind of really roll with that and say, like, those are things you can do. Open houses, clean them up, man. Find as many freaking open houses as you can. Like, go crazy. Do twilight ones on Thursday nights. Do them on Sundays. I don't really think Saturdays are effective in the summertime. I'm not a fan of them. But I would do Thursday nights for the cottage group, Sundays, and go mad on open houses. If you are not making $350,000 on open houses, you need to reach out and get coaching. You have to, because it's like, you need to get it. And if you're not doing it, like, I'm sorry, it's a game changer. Game changer. I mean, you really, really, really need to be good at it and understand they're not going away. And the more inventory in the market means find more listings to do them. I hate that they're Sunday 2 to 4 too. Like, I hate it. But also at the same token, I frigging love knowing that I'm the best there is at open houses, and that if people come through, like, they're not leaving, especially during Shark Week.
Well, that was a lot of information. So,
I know, I'm like, yeah.
That's okay. I mean, I've heard it all before, but not for everybody has, right? So, I mean, so going back to the number $350,000 a year in open houses, which I've seen your calculation, maybe just for the audience that can give them a quick estimate of where you're coming up with that number.
Yeah, like, if you're looking at the thing with open houses is that you need to treat it like a business. And I've always said this, is that you need to treat your open houses like an actual business, not a punishment. All right. And if you're treating it like a business, treat it like a business of like a storefront or a birthday party. If you're saying that nobody came to your open house, then that's like having a birthday party that nobody showed up to. So you have to examine, what didn't I do at the beginning, right? So it's like, you know what? I didn't invite anybody. Well, no shit. If you only invited 20 people and you didn't, like, once, like, that's it, right? You got to like birthday party the shit out of that open house. You got to storefront it so it's like nobody's business on that open house. You got to wear the badge on it. Go all out on that open house. So have what we call mega open houses. Even invite your whole database and be like, look, you don't even have to be looking for a house. I would do a video and I'd just be like, hey, yo, it's Marianne. Just want to let you know, doing an open house and blah, 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 blah. It's bougie as anything. You got to come and visit me. I haven't seen you in ages. Why don't you stop by and say hi? Get your database in there. Get them out there. Tell your friends. Be like, hey, listen, while you guys are all having fun at the cottage, on your way back, swing by, say hi. Like, you got to find a way to really get it out there and push it hard. It's a business. So then when you're in there, again, it's really simple. You need to do 2 open houses a month. That's it. So if you're good at 2 open houses a month and you can find 1 client in that open house, that's 2 clients a month. That's it. 24 clients a year. That's it. That is over $350,000. And that's not even including all the other stuff that I could coach you on. But what's happening is that people aren't using the systems. So they're not treating it like a business. So they're just going to the open houses. They're half-assing it. They're not doing a lot of work ahead of time. They're not owning the open house at the highest level. They don't know the right scripts or the models. And they're really, really not doing that. And then when they're hearing that somebody's like, oh, I'm working with an agent, they're like, oh, okay. It's almost like they're excited to hear that. And it's like, no. And then the other thing about open houses, here's a little tip. I'm going to load you with tips. And if you want access to my open house guide, you just have to DM me on my redapple_coach Instagram site and just put open house and I will get you the information you need. But here's the scoop. With open houses, most off the hook shit, right? Take your freaking sign in and take everything off it, have their contact info, tiny sheet, not something that's like 100 pages long, and just have a sign-in sheet with their contact info and put, are you an owner or a renter? That's it. If your sign-in sheet does not have owner or renter on it, how are you doing your follow-ups? Like you can't. You need to be able, like if it's summertime and I did 6 months of open houses at the beginning of the year, it's easy for us now to go back to our clients and say, you need listings. Yes, I do. Here we go. And then boom, 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 boom. How many open houses that we have that are stale leads now that owned houses? And they're like, wow, 45. Friggin' wonderful. 45. Let's do this shit. Call them up now, offer them equity checks, see if they sold their houses. You'll pick up business, but what happens is people have open house sign-in sheets and they don't have that information on there. So then they scramble and they're like, all you have is this sheet that makes no sense. And you're like, I don't even remember who I met last week. I don't know how I would remember anybody I met 2 months ago. So unless it's Saeed, I remember him. So long story short, it's like, so I have to kind of do all that stuff and I go through it. And then I'm like, perfect. If I need listings, I'm going to go back. If you have a big team and you're not doing that, that was the first thing I fixed on one of the teams I coach. I'm like, own rent. That's it. And so when that team now needs listings or they need to vamp up their buyers, I'm like, where are all the people who say that they're renters on there? The interest rates just dropped on the 3-year fixed. I'm like, pick up the effing phone, call every single person on there that's a renter, and you tell them about that interest rate. And they did. And they picked up a sick amount of appointments. And then I was like, same thing. Your short listings, you have 700 people who signed in that said that they own a house. Let's go after home equity checks. So that information on open houses, if you're not good at booking appointments, that's important. But you have to remember too, is that the highest skilled agents can work really hard to book appointments at the open house. And given that it is Shark Week, I want to remind you that if I'm in your marketplace, I am highly skilled. And if I'm in your marketplace and you don't sign them as an appointment, or you send your client and they're not under buyer agency, I will go after them. I'm never going to lose sleep over that because I know that I'm a salesperson in the core. I mean, I'm a coach, but you know. I also, so I would say like open houses, you have to invest in them. You have to get coaching in open houses. Don't try to do that shit on your own. It's a $350,000 return. I'm like, so if you're making 50,000 GCI and you're looking at bringing a coach in, and you're like, how am I going to afford it? How am I going to afford it? You just don't even coach on anything else. There's so many listings you can get right now to do open houses and say, coach, all I want, open houses. That's it. That's it. And I'm like, do not coach me on anything else because I only have 50K in my life right now. And I want to get that 350. Perfect. Go all in on open houses. Let's do it. And then when you get the 350, move on to something else. And that's what I would do. Too many agents are going all over the place saying, I want to do this. I want to be a door knocker. I want to be a cold caller. I want to be this. Don't do it. Just go all in on something that's easy like that. And in Canada, United States right now, it's impossible to not make a shit ton of money on open houses right now. Impossible.
We're talking more about open houses then. What's more a way of inviting people into your home, into the open house? Although you gave like 20 of them or whatever, when we were going through the thing, even just door knocking, beforehand definitely helps.
It helps, but it's not what's going to get you there. You have to remember is open houses again are a system, right? So it's not one thing. I hear people say, I'm going to go door knocking and I'm going to door knock 20 doors and I expect 100 people to show up. That's never going to work. Unless you're Ryan Serhant and you're like, you can put a social media video, it's never going to work. Okay, you have to really, first of all, you need to go all in on your open houses and have a repetitive system for inviting people there. First thing is that if you're looking at your social media post, it should not be. If you're only doing one open house every month, okay, or 2 months, nobody's paying attention to that shit. Okay, you got to go all in on your open house. You got to do a video. What I would suggest is I would, first of all, make sure your whole database knows. Okay, what is awesome about that house? Okay, is it a great house? Does it have a wicked kitchen? Does it have a great backyard? If it's a shit house in general and there's nothing nice you can say about the house, find something. Okay, just be honest. There was a wicked video I saw. No word of a lie. This is my favorite video. I can't find it anywhere right now, and I'm dying to find it because it came across my feed and now I can't find it anywhere. It's an agent who is doing an open house in the ghetto area. It was like total ghetto. There's 2 women in a cat fight next to his open house, literally yelling and fighting. He does a live video and he's like, hey, everybody, I'm so-and-so realtor. And the women are yelling and screaming in the background, swearing, and they're ripping each other's head. He's like, I'd like to invite you to my live open house today. He's like, this is a family-friendly neighborhood. Everybody's very passionate about living here. And I died. And he's like, I think this is a great place for you to come visit me. He's like, or help me. He's like, here's the address. He had so many people come by, but you have to laugh about that one. But here's the thing, you got to get your signage up there. You have to go all out on social media and convince me. You have to sell me on why I need to go to your open house. What is it about that open house that is freaking awesome? So I'll give you an example. If I'm doing a single family home in a certain area, okay, I'm going to do creative shit. I'm going to take my camera and I'm going to maybe walk to a store, or I'm going to drive to somewhere and I'm going to have somebody film it. I'll put it on fast forward and I'll be like, hey, this is amazing. If it's near a hospital, I'll be like, no problem. If you want to be 5 minutes from the hospital, let's go. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to advertise the shit out of that. I'm going to let my database know. I'm going to have things like, maybe I'll invite the Girl Guides over and I'll do something where I'm like, it's Girl Guide weekend at all of our open houses. I'm donating $1 each. Don't stand them up. Get your asses to our open house and let's go. If I'm doing it around the neighborhood, okay, I am literally going to go and I'm going to talk to the neighbors and I'm going to convince them. And I'm going to ask them, and see, too many people are soft. I'm going to go to the open neighbors and I'm going to say, hey, my name is Marianne Gillespie. This is a great open house that we have down the street. If I was your agent and I was selling your open house, what would it take, do you think, for me to get you to my open house? Like, what would it take here? And so what do you think could convince you to come? And if they're like, well, I don't know. And I say, look, the thing is that these guys are trying really hard to sell their house. And we really want to make sure as many neighbors as possible see it. And then you can talk about it. You can give us feedback on it. But we would really appreciate it if you could come, give us your feedback on it, show your support to your neighbors. It would mean a lot to us. Can we count you in? And you know what? You got to ask them. You know, too many realtors don't do that. And it's like, you have to show that passion there. And you have to say, if you come in, it would mean everything to us. And if ever you're in this situation where you have to sell your house, you know what? You would want a realtor to do the same thing. Equally, there's a lot of marketing you can do. Businesses, marketing, local stuff that you can do as well. But you can't just do one post and drop it. You got to go all in on it. You equally have to be creative too. And again, go live from your open house. Say, hey, I'm going to be going live, and do a whole social thing and say, I'm going to go live at 2:15. There's a lot of moms and dads and vacationers that can't get to the open house. So do a live feed and say at 2:15, create an event on Facebook. How many people are creating open house events on Facebook? Nobody. And I'm like, why are you not creating an event on Facebook and saying open house, absolutely amazing, and telling everybody in a description saying, come to this open house, it's absolutely off the hook. We have another one that actually was like, they said they were doing a charity barbecue in the driveway of their open house. And they're like, we're just going to do this. And it, you know, charity barbecue was big, but then we were able to bring everybody in. And it's like, sometimes you have to be a little bit more creative and do stuff, but there's no reason, if you have good systems and models, and we have about 14 different things that well, actually we have more than that. We have 21, as you know, we have 21 things. Another thing is are you going to all the banks? Are you saying, hey, listen, you know, my name's Marianne. Are you going to your service providers and saying, can you post my open house on your Facebook pages? It would mean a lot to us, right? Who do you know that wants to live here? You have to go all out and start doing. We do 21 things before our open house, every single open house. And it's like, and you have to be, and it's lead generation. So when you do it, you will have 20 plus people come through. But it's like anything. If you go half-ass or you do a little bit of something, you're going to get the results you get. It's just like I said about the birthday party. You know, if you don't go all in on something, then you're going to, if you don't invite enough people, you will not have enough of a return. It's that simple. And find creative ways. Maybe it's a shitty house, you know, and you got to be like, okay, well, what can I possibly do with this shitty house? It's just a shitty house, let's say. And it's like, okay, well, if it's a shitty house, find something in that area. What is the value in that area? So it's like, okay, well, there's a great restaurant in the area. Wonderful. What would it cost to get that restaurant to do a little sampling catering thing there? What would it cost? Be a little creative about it. So you have to really go outside of the box sometimes. But like I said, we have 21 things that we do before an open house, and we've never had an issue bringing people in, ever.
So sounds to me you're kind of lukewarm on open houses. Is that what I'm hearing?
I just don't get it, man. I'm like, if you're not making the money you want to make, why are you not making them? Like, if, you know, I don't know. It's like, to me, I'm like, why would I want to freaking cold call when I can do open houses? Like, makes no sense, right?
Well, I mean, that's another question. So people are like, besides open houses, okay, between social media, cold calling, talking your sphere, door knocking, what do you suggest for the people? People are always wondering, which one thing should I do to do my business? And how would you usually answer that?
Well, there's 3 tiers of lead gen is how I look at it. There's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Tier 1 lead generation is going to get you immediate results. So if you're struggling right now and you're like, I'm not where I want to be, you don't want to do tier 3 lead gen because that's long term. So lead generation works in 3 components. Tier 1 is anything that's 90 days or less that you can convert into a sale. If you're struggling, you go there. I'll tell you what to do there. If you're like, okay, I've got a little bit, but so I can do a little bit of this and that. Tier 2 lead generation is 3 to 6 months turn. Okay. And that's going to be more along the lines of the open houses and stuff. And then tier 3 lead generation is longer term. That's going to give you the sales from 6 to 12 months. And that's what you want to focus on. If you're rich and you've got everything going for you and you don't need to worry about it, you can do that one if you'd like. Okay. So it's not a matter of anything other than where do you need business now? So if I'm saying I'm fine, and this is a mistake I see in this industry, okay, if you want tier 3 lead generation, that is cold shit. Okay, that is door knocking, that is cold calling, that is all the people that you have to spend a long time. That is internet leads, they're long term. You always want to have some of that going on because it turns, but your follow-up has to be good, and you're looking at a 300 to 1 conversion. So 300 doors you have to knock on to get one piece of business. That's 30 hours approximately. So you got to be careful not to put your eggs in that basket. So if you're door knocking 5 hours to 7 hours a week and wondering when you're going to see business turn, it's going to be months. Okay, so you can't get pissed off with that. Tier 2, so that's cold stuff, but there is a niche for it. There's a need for it. The middle portion is tier 2 lead generation, which is that sweet spot of 3 to 6 months. That's your open houses. So open houses will give you immediate, it will give you longer term, but mostly it's 3 to 6 months term. So that's the 90 days to 6 months, and that's open houses. Again, really probably the best way. Seminars, amazing. So seminars and webinars, awesome for it. You can do that. I've seen bank days, like they came back like a wildfire, which is strange, but bank days and things like that, attending events and community shit. So like that's that middle tier thing. Networking events, all that kind of stuff is that middle group, right? So it can have a lot of good benefits, and that's where I like to play a lot of the time. The first group is all referrals. Okay. So you need to like agent to agent referrals from other cities that feed into you. You need to build those relationships. That would be past clients, family, friends. I am going to put in there, shocking to you guys, that is direct messages on your phone, and that is DMs on Insta and Facebook. And that is tier 1 now. I used to put DMs on Facebook and Insta and things like that. I put it at tier 3. Not from what I've seen in the last few months. The other thing that's in tier 1 is dirty old leads from 10 months ago. Okay, so those dirty, stinky leads that from 10 months ago that we think are like dead and we're like, we never followed up or blah, you know what? Watch and see. They're really, really, really good. Now, where would I put FSBOs? Where would I put cancel expire withdrawals if you're allowed to target them? I would say I would put them either, some can be tier 1, some can be tier 2. The challenge with those categories is, are you accepting overpriced listings? So you have to be really good at that. So I would put them in a cross between tier 1 and tier 2.
So really, to get to the referral part, you're thinking pick up the phone and talk to your sphere. Is that what you're basically saying?
Yeah, but it works. I mean, it works. I mean, if you were to send out, like if you were to send it out every single day, and you like, social media is a beautiful thing. Why are we not DMing everybody every day, 20, 25 people a day? If you have 1,000 people in there, it would take you a while to get through that, but it's like we're scared to do it. And I'm like, I have to be honest with you. Sometimes I look at social media and I'm terrified because I'm like, what is it becoming? I have an algorithm right now that we laugh about that I can't understand, I don't know why. Okay, there's a guy who has a big belly and he jumps around all the time. And I can't explain it, but anyway, long story short, he's famous on the internet, and I'm like, what is this? So I tried to get him off my feed because he keeps showing up. So then I have all these people now. I think it's because I'm training for Ironman, so I'm hungry. I have all these people on my social media right now who are food, those contests, those people who eat a lot of shit on food contests, and like they eat major amounts of food. And so like, they just don't stop, like 100 hot dogs and shit. So anyway, long story short, so they're all on my feed too. So I think like the thing that I'm really getting disappointed about with social media and real estate is that I feel like we're not understanding that 82% of consumers right now, and this is, like I said, is a study done by 1,000 Watt. Like it's a very, very serious thing. 82% of consumers are terrified. They don't know what's going on. So if 82% of consumers are coming to your social media accounts to decide if they're going to use you, you need to show them that you're the knowledge expert of your area. And you need to put a lot of content out about that. The tools are out there right now. You need to make it local and hyper local, but you need to own that shit. And even if you feel like you're faking it because maybe your sales aren't where they need to be right now, and you're like, I'm not really where I need to be, that doesn't mean, it means that you can't put 100 listings up, which is fine. Okay, they don't care about that. The public is looking, saying, who is the smartest person right now who's giving me the best advice on social media? And they're saying, that's who I'm going to start to follow. That's who I'm going to start to listen to. That's who. Now, here's a shocking thing. What you don't realize too is conversion. So one of the things that I've caught in coaching, and I've only caught it in the last 90 days. So this is not something I even thought about beyond 90 days ago, which I have not heard any other coaches talk about either. When I heard that statistic, I was like, holy shit. Okay. Very interesting. If you're wondering why you go on a listing and presentation and you don't get the listing, or you talk to somebody on the phone and it was great, or if you went to you did an open house and they said, yes, I want an appointment with you, call me later, and they ghost you or they don't talk to you again. I had no idea, but it hit me about 90 days ago. Go to your social media account, go to the internet, go incognito, look up your name. Incognito means you're scrubbing yourself off of your thing. Look up your name on there and you tell me what you find, because that's what they saw. So if they're seeing that you have no knowledge, I had a client who was like, I'm getting all these people at open houses that say they want an appointment with me and then they're canceling. What is happening? What is going on? So we looked at his social media and I'm like, dude, your wife is gorgeous. She looks so good in a bikini. I'm like, it's amazing. Like, I'm so jealous as a female. I'm like, I've done my best shape of my life. I would never look that good. I'm like, but why is she in every single post and there's nothing about real estate? And he's like, and I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, every person in your open house is Googling you after, and they're going and they're seeing your accounts, and all they can see is these posts about that. And I'm like, and it could work the same if all your posts are you having the best life ever, but there's no content saying that you're a great realtor and you're smart and you're knowledgeable at your area. It's hurting your conversion. And we're not paying attention to it in coaching, and we're not paying attention to it in real estate. We are now in coaching, but I'm going, every client we have now, I'm going through I'm incognito, I'm going, looking up their name, and I'm going, holy shit, we got a problem. And when we started fixing it, and we started saying, go 3 knowledge posts, hyper local every single week now, all of a sudden, conversions started changing and the appointments started happening and things started changing in your business, because the public is confused now, and it's no longer cute to post what a great life we're having, or it's no longer cute to post things that are more spiritual. They're scared. So we got to be aggressive with that. You can have your personal stuff because they want to know you, but they want to know also that you're the smartest person in the area and you can give great advice. So you have to watch. Your conversion can be greatly affected by this point. And that is a blind spot that even as a top-notch coach, best in the entire world, number one. No, I'm kidding. Shameless plug. But that's something as a coach that I didn't even pay attention to. And then it hit me after I heard the study about 82% of people coming on. I was like, I wonder how bad this is actually affecting people's conversions. And big teams, they're not even thinking about that. They're like, holy shit, you gotta watch out. What is your team posting? How is that affecting your top listing specialists? All the above, right?
Yeah. So what's the main advice you'd be giving both to, say, a rookie agent just starting out or someone who's been producing? What's the main advice that you usually give them?
If you're a rookie agent just starting out, you better bust your ass. You better bust your ass and do not think this is not a gravy train anymore. This is a real job. It's a career. So a lot of people get into real estate, and I would say hire a coach like I did. I went with Howard Brinton first in my career. I never have not had more than 3 I've always had 3 coaches to 5 coaches. I do not believe in recreating the journey. I always have coaches for everything in my life because A, I'm impatient, but B, I'm also a person who's growth oriented. Do not freaking do this alone. Vet who you're supporting, vet the person. Be very careful on who you're bringing into your world, because you need to know how to get there. You can't fuck around in this industry right now. Sorry. But at the same token too, you also have to really understand this is a career. This is not a hobby. This is a career. And if you're coming into it and you're thinking that you can still do what we did 2020, 2021, and 22, I'm tired of hearing people having their best years ever then. I'm like, you know what? That was an anomaly. It was a blessing. Hopefully we saved a lot of money. But like, to be real, we need to smarten up. And you need to say, this is a full-time business. It can work really well for you. It can provide you amazing life, and it can really do everything you want. But as a rookie, you need to spend 80% of your time doing lead generation and building that career and really going all in on it. And then 20% on admin shit, and worry about that later, and pick those 3 sources for leads and gen, and be fearless. Don't hold back. You know what? You do not have to be the highest sales rep in the area. You have to be the smartest, most knowledgeable. Learn the information. It's easier than ever to pick up information right now, and become the smartest person in the room, and you will see the business will come to you.
What about if you're a producing agent? What's the next step for them?
Therapy.
Therapy.
Lots of therapy. No, I'm kidding. Lots of therapy, baby. If you're a producing agent right now, my advice to them, I would say this is the window of opportunity I have been waiting for my entire career. My entire career, I have waited for the moment where I can see who is fearless and who is ready. You're not going to see this. 2025, if you do the right things for the next 6 months, you are going to have, I got goosebumps. If you do the right things for the next 6 months, you are going to see 2025 is going to be so good to you. So good to you. But if you're waiting for that to happen, and you don't have a plan, and you're not looking at it, and you're saying, I just want the summer off, crazy shit. You got to go all in. And it's like your opportunity to take that market share and take out anything and really rise to the top and see the benefits. 6 months. That's all you need to give this industry, is 6 months of serious planning and effort and work into it. And you will see that 2025 and thereon is your moment to say, that's it. You don't have to work that hard all the time. You need 6 months of it. You need to go all in. You need to be talking to people like me. You need to do this shit and say, I'll do it. And if you can do it, then that window, because it is not for the weak. It is a very, very challenging. I'm not crazy. It's not easy. Every stat that we have, I understand. I've pushed people so hard, and like to the point where I haven't taken a vacation this year because I've pushed so freaking hard, and that's not like me. But the reality is that, we're pushing and pushing, and we got the results now. But it's 6 more months. That's it. And then if you do that, you will open up the gate in 2025 and never again. And it will be so freaking good. It'll be nuts if you listen to us. But if you're sitting there and you're going, I'm going to wait for the market to turn, and you're a successful-ish agent right now, and you're going experienced agent, and you're going, I'm just going to wait for the market to turn, too late. Because I will tell you right now, the 20% right now are so damn focused that you better watch out, because they are focused, and they are going to take that market share, and they're going to run away with it, and you're going to be left with the scraps. So you have 2 choices. You either do the work for 6 months and say, all right, this is what it is. There's not going to be a window like this again. When those interest rates drop down, and you're done, like when they go down next year, everybody's going to have, the businesses that they want, but it's not going to be for the people who didn't do the work in the last 6 months. It's not going to be like COVID, where you could just sit back and think it's going to be easy. There is a strategy that's in the works right now that people just can't see. And there is a divergence, and Lord help it if the Canadians end up getting what's happening with the buyer agency stuff in the United States. If that comes to Canada, which it will, within 5 years, it'll be here. So if you're not building your business and focusing on it, then there's a problem.
But then if you get that much business, aren't you going to burn out? I mean, you've done so much work for that. How do you prevent burning out by running on?
I think you know what? You can really look at it in 2 ways. Like there's no reason we work 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Like it's really efficiency, right? The entrepreneurial time system is something I coach on all the time. And if you need help with that, send me a DM with the word time in it, and we'll get you a copy of it. But the entrepreneurial time system, and I'm teaching that in Hamilton next week. And one of the things that the entrepreneurial time system does is it teaches you and it coaches you on how you can, you need to really look. Don't work 7 days a week. That is nuts. Okay.
Right.
If you're working 7 days a week, you take 1 day off and you go play and get a life. Okay. Like, you know what? You do not have to work 7 days a week. That is a falsity. That is bad time management, but that is also a slave to the business and that scarcity mindset. You need to take that day off every single week. You need to plan out your vacation and plan out your life. And you know what? And no client, not a coaching client, not a real estate client, not any client is worth it. Nobody's worth that. You know, you have to really pour into the fact that you need time off and you need a good ability to do that. And I don't give a shit. Every client we have, you know what you need. And the funny thing is the more successful an agent that we coach, the more time they have off. It does happen. It's the agents that are constantly roller coastering that never have time off the way that they should because they're so stressed out that they're like roller coaster, stress, roller coaster. And it just, it's terrible for their ecosystem and their brain. So if you train yourself to give yourself a day off every single week and have your vacations, have your freedom and enjoy yourself and don't be a slave to the business. If you work really efficiently during the week, you know, most agents are wasting their time, but if you work really efficiently during the week, you're going to see you'll be able to do it. And it's gangbuster. It's really easy to do.
I mean, even yourself, you take out 24 hours, you know, every 24 hours, once a week kind of thing. And you run so many different businesses and that kind of stuff. So
I'm an asshole if I don't. Like I'm a real, like I am. I mean, I'm just like, I'm not a good person. If I don't get that day off every week, I short wire. Like I just don't like it because I just, when I do that, like sometimes I'm not going to lie. Like I literally, sometimes I've had such a challenging week that I want to put on my pajamas. I just want to put on my pajamas, crack open a mini thing of Prosecco and like put it on ice, sit outside, not take a freaking makeup day, like look like a bag of crap. And I just want to enjoy myself. And I just don't want to be a realtor and I don't want to be a coach those 24 hours. I just want to be me. And if I don't want to get out of my pajamas for the day and I want to do whatever I want to do, I want to do that. And like, you know what? Like I work hard enough. And it's like, so yeah, that's important to me. And every client that I have respects that. They love that about me. And they're like, you know what? That's good. And I'm like, yeah, I need to play. We're designed to play, and self-care is important and mental wellness is critical in this world. So if you're not doing that, I don't even care. I you know what? I purposely order, this is terrible, but I purposely order something from Zara because I love it. I order shit from Zara. I'll order a box of shit from Zara every couple of weeks. I'll like, boop, 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 boop. They have a wicked sale on right now, by the way. Anyway, so I'll order a ton of shit. The box comes. And I just like, I'll spend a day playing with all the clothes and then it's free to return. So whatever I don't like, I return or whatever shit like that. But I play all the time. And it's like, and you know what? It's like, honestly, I have fun. Like I work hard, but I use the time that I work really hard. And then when I play. And you can definitely tell every now and then something happens where I didn't take a day off and I'm a complete asshole. So my see it, my coaches see it, like my clients see it. So for me, it's like, oh, Marianne needs to take a moment and just play. And you got to do it. Go jump in a lake. Do something you haven't done as a kid in a while. Like, you know, go skinny dipping. Go have fun. Go take a hike. Just like your brain loves that shit. Otherwise, it stays in an active state. And then what it's doing is it's burning it yourself out. So
for sure. I mean, you work hard. You deserve like the 24 hours off, right? I mean, or else what is it for? Just to keep working until you die? Like, you gotta
you do that, right? And it's like, so I was just saying to somebody, they said, they go, what are you doing? So I'm running the Berlin Marathon. It's their 50th anniversary. So I qualified. So I'm running the Berlin Marathon in September. I'm literally speaking at, so I was invited to speak at RE/MAX. So I'm speaking at RE/MAX the first week of September in Toronto at the conference. And then the second week I'm speaking at Buzz, and that's awesome. And then literally I'm leaving after speaking at Buzz. I'm heading on a flight to Berlin to run the marathon 2 days later. And everybody's like, that's crazy. And I said, it's not crazy. I said, because I booked myself 5 days after that. I'm in Paris where I'm going to sit and drink champagne every freaking day. And like, I don't care. That's all I'm going to do. Champagne, bonbons, those little things, eat crabs. I play a lot. So it's like, I might work hard and do a lot of crazy shit, but I also like, I have a bucket list. And I'm like, and I make sure, and I have a book and it's a bucket list and that's all I freaking do. I want to live. I want to freaking die and regret anything, but I also fund my life through my business. So I think that's the fun part about real estate is like, we don't get in it too often. It doesn't matter how much money you make, but it's how much freedom you're getting from that money. And what is that for you? Is it like Ron over here, you know, he goes to Greece, like that's freedom, right? So it's like you go and you live in places and you enjoy. Exactly. And so it's like, what is it giving you? Like you have to do that because what's the point? You know, live. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Right? Take that trip and let your income fund the life that you've always wanted.
Cool. So how can people contact you? How can you help?
Well, I will tell you, honestly, I'm always on Instagram. So it's the redapple_coach. That's the only account that I'm active on. So if you ever need something or you want to get on our list or you want to be notified of our open house shit and our training, you should DM me there. Give me your email information on there and we're happy. Our website is redapplecoaching.ca. We are running a lot of shit. Like we have incorporated AI to open houses now. So we actually have a surprise. We're going to be the first coaching company to ever incorporate AI to our open houses. So I'm very excited about that. But I have decided there is a very limited group of people that we're going to consider coaching from now until the end of the year. So we are thinking of putting together some stuff where we're going to be doing a mastermind in September. We're going to be doing a business planning live. We also are going to be doing live open house training, but we also are sitting here going, you know what, at this point, we're going all in to help as many people as we can from now to the end of the year. So I would say if you're serious about doing something, reach out on Instagram or go to redapplecoaching.ca and let us know, because I'm telling you the truth. I'm like, it is really, it is time. Do not think that this is a bad time for the market. This is insane. And we're going to start showing our stats of our clients over the next few weeks. And you should see, we want to really change you guys in your mindset and say, look, the most important thing right now is to say, get yourself a coach, get yourself the freaking support. Do not do this on your own. Just say, fuck it, go all in. You know what? What do you have to lose? Because what is coming is going to be amazing, and set yourself up for it is probably, it's one of those things that you deserve. Give yourself the life you want. Do not be the 80% that sees it negative. Be the 20 that says, let's do this. Yeah. So that's how you can. So reach out to me if you have any needs. And you know what? Talk to me. A lot of people just want to say, hey, like, how can I make this work? Talk to me and we'll figure out where you fit in the coaching world. We're happy to do that. But invest in yourself. That's the best advice I'm going to give you.
That's awesome. Well,
thank you.
There it is.
All right.
That's Marianne Gillespie.
You're welcome.
Lawrence Mack, Real Estate Rookies. I'll talk to everyone later. Bye.
Bye, guys. Have a great week.